We're demonstrating, in theory, the power of Guardian of Faith within a token-based deck, and we get it! It's on the stack, it'll still trigger. The crew phases out. We lose only the Guardian. Hello, good game. Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. Thank you all so much for taking the time to support the channel. I hope you're having a magical day. Within Magic the Gathering Arena, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, we will be playing standard best of one with a green and white landfall/token build. Scooty Booty is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned. We're going to break down the deck list, talk about the strategies, the synergies, showcase all of this within the gameplay footage, giving you a deeper understanding, and then we'll wrap up with my closing thoughts. Make sure to like the video, show your support, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even become a YouTube member so you don't miss out on this cool box opening. And then stay tuned for the community day coming out, the announcement sometime this week. And we will be, getting down and dirty, playing matches against you, the viewer, live on Twitch all day. So if you want to challenge me, free of charge, beat me down, embarrass me, that's what's going on soon. So, cool beans. Appreciate you guys, and let's take a look at the stack. All right, without rambling too much, here's a terrible token deck. And this deck is a ton of fun, don't get me wrong. Might not be the most competitive build in the meta currently. However, I do have very high hopes for it. And as we not only describe and showcase the deck to you guys and demonstrate it, I'll be looking for your feedback in the comments below as to how we can improve this build. Because, it's not something that I'm looking to give up on. With that being said, the performance of it was fairly lackluster. We got a win or two, but, we really had to work for it. So, with this being said, it is a green and white Selesyna ramp or mid-range landfall build. 60 card standard best of one, 3.4 average mana value, 21 creatures, 15 non-creatures, 24 land, with the addition of 2 Kazandu Mammoths, taking us up to 26. And now there is a ton of ramp within the build. It's a good place to start. 4 copies of Lotus Cobra for 2. It's a 2/1 with landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. And this is a non-legendary that you can stack. Prosperous Innkeeper, also for 2, as a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure, and that treasure can be sacrificed to add a mana of any color. And then, of course, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life, which is crazy good because we're going to be making a ton of tokens. This is also a modified deck, so we'll be using Kodama of the West Tree for 3 mana as a 3/3 with Reach. Modified creatures you control have trample, and whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card, put that card into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle, right? So this will be a way to pull multiple lands into play at once. We also have the Restoration of Nganjo. Search your library for basic playing cards, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. When you discard a card, or you may discard, and when you do, return permanent card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is quite nice because we can discard a land, put that land from the graveyard into play, and then cast a land from our hand. So this is, within that ramp territory as well. And then while we're here, you do exile and transform this on the 3rd trigger into a 3/4 with Vigilance. And whenever the Architect of Restoration attacks or blocks, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token, which is really quite exciting. There's further ramp here through Glorious Sunrise. Target land gains tap to add 3 green source until the end of turn. And of course, Ashaya, Soul of the Wild, making all of our non-token creatures now forest lands in addition to their other types. And of course, since they're forest, they can tap for a green source, which is really cool. So, a ton of ramp within the build. Mentioning Modify here as a source of ramp, getting the +1/+1 counters through things like Ranger's class. When it enters play, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Pay 2 whenever a creature you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So there's the Modify. You can also pay 4 to play creatures off the top of your library if you want. And then we have Modify primarily through Feladar's Retreat for 4 as an enchantment with Landfall. And whenever a land enters play, you can create a 2/2 cat beast creature token or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. And then those creatures gain vigilance until the end of turn. So your creatures are going to have trample, they're going to have vigilance, and they're going to be pulling you a bunch of lands, which is really cool. And then, of course, those lands that you just pulled will re-trigger all of your landfall. Whether it be the Lotus Cobra, so you can keep playing from your hand, whether it be the Felidar Retreat to make more 2/2 cats to trigger the Innkeeper to gain you life, whether it be to create a ton of copies of the Scoot Swarm, which would inherently trigger the Innkeeper as well, which is a lot of fun. We're ramping primarily, though, into Storm the Festival for 6 at sorcery speed. Looking at the top 5 cards of your library, putting any 2 permanent cards with mana value 5 or less from among them into the battlefield, the rest in the bottom of your library in random order, right? So Ashaya, Glorious Sunrise, Felidar Retreat, all very high value cards to play in, but we don't really mind any of the 3 drops either, which is nice, and we can replay that through the flashback for 10 from the grave. Guardian of Faith protects everyone, right? Because tokens are vulnerable to the Meat Hook, to Blood on the Snow. For 3 mana as a 3/2 with Flash and Vigilance, when Guardian of Faith enters the battlefield, any number of other target creatures you control phase out. So, they cannot be destroyed through the hook. They can't even be bounced through things like a Cyclone Summoner, if we want to look at it that way as well, which is really exciting. So going wide and then protecting ourselves from the wipe and then taking lethal, ideally. The Mammoth is a 3/3 when not played as a land, and whenever a land enters play, it'll gain +2/+2. And this is fantastic if you have Kodama and Retreat and give it Trample, right? So that's a big hitter for us as well, but primarily just going really wide. The Sunrise can gain us life. We can also draw a card or give our creatures +1/+1 and Trample until the end of turn as well. So, that's really going to help us when we go wide as well. Before we get there, we're just helping stabilize with the life gain and draw. That is the entirety of the deck, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed. There's Evolving Wilds, Who Endures, and Seed of the Empire in here for fancy lands. Wilds, double landfall trigger, AV, which is pretty cool. And the rest is, straightforward through dealing 4 damage and, destroying enchantments, artifacts, and other lands. Make sure to like the video, share, support, subscribe to the channel, and become a YouTube member so you can check out what's in this cool box. Oh my god, I know, right? So cringe. Most importantly, enjoy me getting beat up today in the Mythic queue, playing against not only the best decks, but the best players. And boy, oh boy. Woof. I don't know if it's bad luck or a bad deck. I'd like you to be the judge and let me know in the comments below. And if you think it's a bad deck, I want to know how you can improve it. Don't just say, trash deck streamer, you suck. I know you're going to do it anyways. Thanks so much. Enjoy. And, we'll wrap up after this as well. So, there's that. On the draw, keeping 7. Playing with the Mammoth, nice and slow. Turn 2, Innkeeper. Turn 3, Kodama. Oh, wow. It's a lot of tree, man. Mono Black is an unfavorable matchup as we really are just making Meat Hook fodder. And Blood on the Snow is not the worst for us, but, at the end of the day, it's not great either. We can sustain ourselves through the Innkeeper, Scoot Swarm / Cat triggers. Force the block. Restoration, find a land for next turn. The restorations in this matchup are very good. Right, because we don't want to be just flooding the field for a wipe. And this gains value on the side. However, there is that downfall there as well. Whereas we're making the 1/1s that are great for them to kill. To deal damage to us through the hook. Invoke Skis. That actually deals with most of what we had going on. LOL. So, 4 lands. We're not ready for the Scoot yet. Scoot needs that 6 land on top of it. Let's grab another Restoration. We're ready for it next turn. I don't necessarily think that we need the treasure, so I'm just going to toss another Kodama out. It's not modified, so there will be no land grab, but it's still worth our time. We have an Innkeeper in the grave that we could pick up if we wanted. I don't think it's a bad choice. And Junji's not great. Let's toss a keeper, grab a keeper, make a treasure. Probably is a Blood on the Snow, right? But at the end of the day, just go for it. We have life gain triggers. Scoot Swarm out. So at the very least, we can sustain ourselves. Kind of. We're looking for a Faladar's Retreat, ideally, right? Yeah, they're going for it. I'm not gonna kill the Twitch. I'm gonna leave it. We have the life gain to offset the damage that it does. Oh, you jerk. And this is kind of what I was talking about as it being a bad matchup, because we make a lot of stuff for them. We would be making creatures and gaining double life. Because, like, we'll gain more life here than we'll lose if we wilds now. Through the Innkeepers, while they're still alive, right? And it's not like we're sitting on another Scoot Swarm in hand. Oh, oh, too little, too late, huh? Huh? It's a too little, it's a too late. And they're gonna nuke it. Don't really want to keep it in hand. Down to 13 from Janji. They're at 25 as well, which is not great. They do take the retreat. Interesting. Oh, wow. How cool would that have been? Guess we should... Well, because then they may have taken the Architect instead then. It's a bit of a bummer. Let's take them down. 21. And turn. For 5. Not ideal. Down to 8. They have lethal next turn. Actually, well, no. Oh. Oof. And that's 3 additional damage to us, right? So we don't want that. So let's just take the hook. We'll grab Junji back, though, here. And then Junji died, so they can either have us discard lose life, or they can lose life and grab a card back. Non-dragon, that is. And, well, I mean, We survive, kind of, sort of, maybe. Get oozed, bruh. I mean, it's not great. If we had a field wipe, we could survive. Which if we don't... Good game. Guardian, where are you? Opponent goes first. We can keep 7. Mammoth in slow. No turn 2. We do have the Guardian of Faith, though, with the Scoot Swarm. So, you know, there's hope here. That's that turn 2 that we didn't have. Picking it up now is nice. Restoration will confirm the Scoot Swarm pops. We even have Kodama, interestingly enough. Playing as an Esper build here. 3rd land in untapped. Only 1 blue source. Lots of field wipes to contend with. I don't actually mind them stalling. I'm looking to do very much the same thing. Just resto it up. No attacks. We could potentially defend with it to bring it back, but I don't think that's... Well... Yeah, defend, send it to the grave, discard a secondary Kodama, and then we still play the land regularly. That would be the best, I believe. I think. And this could have been a ninjutsu attack as well, so it's good to block. Very may well have been a ninjutsu technique. Nunjutsu? Not nin... You know what I mean. Alright. So let's toss... Tree. Grab the keeper. Make the treasure. Land and play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have maybe played the Mammoth. Would love to keep up Guardian of Faith at all times. Which we can do with the treasures. Grab that life, pass our turn. We've got a defender now. Which is nice. We also have protection for it. Not really how we want to use the Guardian here. But it would work. Typically, it's to protect all of our tokens from a field wipe, right? Or at least that's how it was designed for me. Whether or not we can pull it off, that's going to be another thing. In theory, though, right? Walry's Runes. It's untapped. They know we're escaping their mana requirements through the Guardian. Sorry, through the treasures. And they don't know about the Guardian. It's not really a played card, so... It's very, very sneaky. They're holding up 2 mana, which is less than ideal. They are tapping out, though, here on their turn if they decide to deal with it. That's a big fat no. Exile and Transform, which actually is not that bad at this point. Gain life. Land and tapped. Here's a Restoration. We maintain access to the Guardian still. Kodama can swing. Should be fine. Take the damage. It's unmodified, so no land pull, but could be worse. Alright, so 5, potentially 6 available mana for them this turn. There it is. Still having 6 in hand. 1 foretold. And access to the Luge via flashback from the grave. A little nervous. You know, obviously, they have Meathook at their disposal. And that's not something we ever want to partake in. So that's another foretell. Why are these 2 foretold cards separated? Shouldn't they be in the same section? Alright, let's take our turn. Alright, so we need that land untapped. I think we straight up decline this. Actually, it could have come in tapped. But I don't really want to lose a Scoot Swarm. Should we play this as the land? Is the question mark. No, keep it as a play. Let's make a booty. Swing for 6. And the flock is now protected. Right? We're gaining life. We're going wide. The boys are good to go. And the girls. I don't really know. Do insects have gender? Or trees? Trees are like asexual, aren't they? I'm pretty sure trees would be... I think a lot of plants are probably asexual. Insects, I don't really know. Get exiled, bruh. Okay, March of Otherworldly Light nukes our restoration. Passing our turn back over to them. There's a counterspell here, though. There has to be. There has to be a counterspell here. If they counter this, that's fantastic for them. If not, it's fantastic for us. I don't know. We have to assume they do. I mean, there's something for them. But wouldn't they have been maybe more excited to cast it if they did have it, and it would have went out on the stack right away? Regardless, we're demonstrating in theory the power of Guardian of Faith within a token-based deck, and we get it! It's on the stack, it'll still trigger. The crew phases out. We lose only the Guardian. Beautiful. We're hitting for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 14. Maybe we could pick up Feldar's Retreat off the top. Bomb in the land, +1 Vigi on everyone. That would get the job done. We're getting roped because of it. I love it. That makes it worth it, right? No, they're not roping us. They're just devising a strategy to smash us again. We potentially do get another chance at it. The life gain's not bad. But it's like we should hold back in case we need to restart from a secondary Doomscar, right? Because there's a good chance that this is a Doomscar as well. And then we can play the Scoot, play the Mammoth, play the lands on top. To 27. Close. Very close. If we had a layer, if we had something like this, that would have been super helpful. They are down to 4. We're keeping as an semblance of a hand. There's another Doomscar here. Maybe we just need more Guardians. Let's load up on Guardians. I assumed 1 would be enough. Well, 1 per game. I think there's 2 in deck. This should be a land too, you know what I mean? Ideally, there's no meat hooks. There's no more Doomscars. We can just get after it. They're going to take a little Diggler. Hold the Multiverse. Foretold for 2 mana. So it wasn't a Doomscar, and they scryed 2 to the bottom, and then drew 2. And now a third. 6 in hand. Access to the Luge. 8 available mana, potentially 9. 3 Doomscars in a row. Wow. You don't see that every day. They now have access to Hall of the Storm Giant. Little late, bro. We cannot attack on the ground while they're untapped. This is heartbreaking. Here comes the Luge. This game might be coming to a close. I thought for sure this was the match we got our win. Perfect. We have Guardian of Faith. We're making tokens. But then, no, triple Doomscar. Get wrecked, streamer. No, not today. Nice. Wish I could look at the top 6 and draw 2. That would be so good right now. This is still a match somehow. They're gonna have to discard. Are they? No. How bad is their hand that they have to do this? They have 10 in hand, so unless they're triple casting, they still have to double spell us here just to get down to 7. Interesting. Yikes. We got some big brain Esper plays coming our way. What have we seen from them? Other than not much, you know what I mean? Take your time. We'll be here. They're like, oh, yes. I'm roping. Maybe I shouldn't do that to my opponent. There's just too many options for them. Loving these lands. So close. Opponent goes first. I'm actually just tossing this hand. There's no ramp in it. We'll keep 6. Toss a land, I guess. Rangers class early on with Kodama to back it up isn't bad. Probably as good as this hand's ever going to get. They're deciding on their turn. We have a Walry's Runes untapped. Wow, they're going to wish they kept that there, I think. Because Rangers class is fantastic. And would have been a good card to counter. But maybe they don't have the blue source any other way. And they're like, well, I want to have blue mana up to counter after this. Alright, so you never really know. Kato will phase out. So, you know, whether they draw and discard or just make the unblockable creature.
I've got all kinds of connections.
Let's push in. Hit for 3. Hopefully, Kodama can, you know, enter play and be left alone. Is there ninjutsu here? No. Just the draw through Kato.
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
Check for traps. Reveal their hand. Choose a non-land card from it. If it's an instant card with flash, is exiled this way. They lose 1 life. Otherwise, you lose 1 life. So there's no instant. There's no cards with flash. So they're going to lose life here. But they get our Kodama, which physically hurts me. Right, in a big way. Playing creatures off the top. Not ever a bad thing. Which blocks the 4/4. I imagine they grab a Sciences, but it may be exile. Necrotic Fumes. No, they want to draw with the Archaics while having more cards in hand than us. Interesting strategy, COD, and let's see how it pays off for them. Oh, they're making good work of it. Yeah, they played a land, they played the Celestus, now they get the draw. And they'll take another draw here. They are tapped, though. I mean, it's not great news, but it's better than nothing. Especially when we have Storm underneath, so let's get that land in. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 6. We're drawing that, so we're not casting it next turn anyways. Kill Kato. They probably just have another.
Big deal. I'll try again later.
And they may wipe the field here too, right? But we can just like start playing these sunrises, and that'll gain us a good amount of inherent value as the game progresses. Unless they have counter magic for them. Yeah, so there's the Doomscar. 2 mana up. Can't play lands off the top, which sucks. But we should still cast off the top to find our next land, right? At a expedited rate, even though we can't cast it. So Scoot Swarm just, you know, it's gonna get annihilated here, but whatever. It's not our objective. Storm the Festival is our objective. I feel like they almost should have waited on that and dumped in just to gain more life, but Twitch is inconsequential. 3 cards in hand. That's mostly what we're worried about, is those 3 cards. They're gonna start activating the Celestis, maybe. Kodama out. Wild's in play. Pass turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The hard thing is, like, ooh. Well, that's not great either. And that's why we got that value from it while we could. Because these sunrises, they're not going anywhere, right? Well, I mean, they do have actually discard, so maybe they will. We do have reach here. They may have an Inganjo, though, right? I don't know. So we don't really want to block, so then they just deal 4 damage to us. And that would be a sad, yeah?
Now, what do we have here?
We have to shuffle this land away. Bummer. We actually could have kept it because it was a Cobra. Oh no, that's 7. What am I thinking? Did they have counter magic? Well, let's test. It's a counterable spell. That's for sure. Yes, 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 yes. Hit for 3, down to 14. Hit for 1, then they draw. Not great. They'll also draw and discard through the Celestis if they don't cast.
No secret I can't uncover.
They're looking at the grave. It's never a good sign. Gives me the heebie-jeebies, if I'm being totally honest. They gain life, draw and discard. They toss a second copy of the Celestis land and play 3 in hand with another Twitch skis. Woof. More counter magic. Cobra out. Mammoth out. Grab a green source. Here's another sunrise. Should probably counter that, shouldn't you? Interesting. We just don't want them to counter Storm the Festival. Interesting. So it enters play. I think Rample may be more important to us. Well, the draw is actually really good too. Let's draw. We should strike. Trample would have been good. But at the same time, we don't want to lose card advantage if they wipe. So there's Exile for the Sunrise. They've discarded a land. They're down to 36. Kato's provided so much value to this match, it's ridiculous. Again with the Celestis. Drawing and discarding. Sorrow gets tossed, which is interesting because they don't have one in play yet. Kato draws.
Thanks. I'll be taking.
Woof, that's what I'm talking about. That draw's crazy. We lose our Sunrise, but they're tapped out. Right, so we can kill Kato here. Let's storm it up. They have mana. They could counter this. Yeah. I mean, how many counters in a row are we expected to dodge? We can go up to 3-4 land. That's not going to get us there. Actually, cancel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's... Oh! Ouch. I didn't realize we already had one of those. Idiot! Idiot! Look at your land. And that's kind of why running multiples can get you into trouble.
Gonna get a snack.
Whoops. A little misplay. Who doesn't? Who among us? Okay, here's a Teferi. That's, like, fantastic as well, right?
Don't worry. I face scarier villains.
They know they need another counter for this storm. They can sack this to draw cards and gain life. I don't know how they've drawn so many cards and are still grasping for them. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Only 2 mana up. They know they need the counter magic. Ashaya out. Triggers some nice landfall. Should we kill the Celestis? I feel like that's a hard yes. Right? Just take it out. Get rid of it. Harry's at 5, which is frustrating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't necessarily need the snake. But I also don't really just want to lose it. It could provide a lot of value here.
I'm familiar with bullies like you.
Must be a mascot exhibition. We would love a guardian right now to protect us. 3 of them in the build. They single target Ashaya. Teferi
suppose that's how it was
goes
made.
into the grave. That's so interesting to me. Looking at the top 3, 1 into hand, rest to the bottom. Still 28 in library, and we suffer a field wipe here, guaranteed, yeah. It's that Guardian we wanted for a reason. Alright, we're at 39. They're at 28, 11 cards ahead of us. Let's grab a green source. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not enough. Should have saved it. Should have saved it, Bill. It's past turn. Emperor is now in play. Holy Planeswalkers.
Learned much during my travels.
Two-Tooth Vigilanto. And then we get hit with the Haul for 9. Hashtag yikes. They hold up counter magic. Oh, sorry, hit for 10 because of the Wanderer. Decent, decent, decent. Well, let's get a good card here. Hashtag almost. If there's a counterspell, they win. It is also on the stack already, but, you know, still getting hit for 4. We just can't get it. Woof. Going first. Let's rock and roll. I guess Innkeeper on turn 2 before the Cobras. Yikes. Life gain will be helpful as long as we can survive. The retreat is also fairly nice if we can survive and have that Innkeeper survive as well. So that Harvester can kill the Innkeeper immediately. Snick. Alright, so maybe they kill a Cobra. Because the Innkeeper's already done its job. It's ramped, it's gained life. Now we have a lot of mana on our hands. Just looking for a festival. Yeah. Harvester kills a Cobra. Trespasser in play takes the Cobra, dealing 1 damage. They gain 1 life. No blocks. Retreat and play, spend the mana. Seed of the Empire is out. Trigger the cat, gain life. No attacks. Restoration is played, pulls the planes. Oof. That's good. I think we double block this. Right? We'll play the wilds, sack the wilds, discard the seat. Gaining life, trying to stabilize. This Predator is going to be annoying. Let's make sure we have 3 green sources. No attacks. We may want to even... Well, no. Let's discard the Empire. Put the Wilds back in. Then we can resack it for another trigger. Also thins our deck. They definitely killed the Innkeeper this time. They may take our Wilds here. Good play, opponent. Okay, well, that's frustrating. Land for the cat. Gain life. Land for the cat. Gain life. Swing for 4. Beautiful. Predator untaps. Let's force the sacrifice on another creature. Right, it's a blocker. They have 2 cards in hand. It's actually not that bad. I think we just go big. Right, this is a lot of damage. Potentially lethal. Of the 2 lands, I'd rather block this one or interact with it. Really, not taking the Innkeeper. Oh, they kill the Innkeeper this way. Maybe, right? No. And a 6. We still have a good field, and now this is where things all turn south, right? Southern people must not like that saying. No! We did it! We got a win! We did it! We only had to fall 5% first. Holy Toledos. Talk about terrible tokens. Getting beat up the old-fashioned way. 3 Doomscars in a row, and then it was like 3 counterspells in a row. Holy Toledos. Control players are just loving this matchup, right? We don't have a ton of interaction, and they have ways to really deal with everything. Like, you know, Vanishing Verse dunks on the deck. Doomscar does very, very well when played in triplets. I had high hopes for the Guardian of Faith and this deck. There's a lot of value here. I'm just... Why isn't it working? Do we just bail on Glorious Sunrise? Do we just bail on Storm the Festival and bring in some low-end protection? More Rangers classes, you know, a 4th Guardian, right? And just, like, really focus on the low end of the build and stop trying to ramp so aggressively into Storm and just gain too much value, because I feel like it's not working, right? I mean, it's close, and in theory it should, but, you know, maybe there's just some fine-tuning here. So I would love to know what you guys think in the comments below. And, of course, while we're here, definitely become a YouTube member, right? We've got the box to open, and I'm going to save a portion of this box to open, the packs within the box, I guess, for the community day, which is coming up. I know I keep advertising it, but I've got no date planned. I do have to obviously schedule days. Will be like a 12-hour stream or something where we're just playing matches against you, the viewer, opening packs, giving cards away, which is really exciting. So don't miss out on that. And you know how you don't miss out on it? You subscribe to the channel, and I'm sure you'll be notified. Like the video as well. Share to your friends, your family, whatever it happens to be, whoever you're spending time with. Share to yourself. Oh, stop it. Have a magical day, you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.